will work. There it goes. You're being recorded officially.
Anything I say can be used against me.
In perpetuity.
Yes.
That's what I had to. Me and John Langan had a grammar discussion about perpetuity after
I'm going to ask him about that this weekend. I see him this weekend. I love John.
He's literally one of my heroes, so it was really cool.
He's amazing. I adore him so much.
But yeah, a font of knowledge, that man.
He is.
Her Wicked Roots. Incredible book. Really, let's see. Beautiful prose. Intricate mystery, which I really appreciated, which really it hooked me immediately. There's all these questions, and you're like, again, it's like on this like that mechanical of like my writer brain goes like, oh, doling out these questions and then answering them like in this little. I'm like, oh, it's perfect, it's beautiful. This like trickle. I think I'm gonna start saying this disclaimer at the beginning of every recording, but I'm gonna dance around spoilers. So I'm not gonna spoil the book, but if you're this far, go buy and read Her Wicked Roots. Come back. You will enjoy this discussion more.
Yes.
If you've read the book. Poison. I could talk to you. I think I could ask you 50 questions about the use of how you use poison, toxin, all that stuff throughout the book. I'll try and limit it.
Because perpetuity.
Yes, exactly. There's this very specific line in the book that really stood out to me. And I'm gonna have to also dance around spoilers because I think I don't want to give. It's like midway through the book, but it basically Cordy, the main character, she makes a kind of a delineation between poison or toxins or illness or disease or whatever it may be, between that and proper violence. She uses the phrase quote unquote proper violence. And, it made me think of like this theoretically this book is set before Sherlock Holmes and Game of Thrones, both of which use the quote of like poison is a women's tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which you were probably taught in your English class as well, as poison is traditionally a woman's.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I know it's not like that. It's not cut and dry. Like it's a nice metaphor sometimes because it is like of this fake metaphor for, women being trapped in a domesticity and then using poison to escape and all that stuff. But Cordy doesn't think of it as quote unquote proper violence. And is that because the violence because poison is violence. I at least in my head, poison is absolutely violent, but because it doesn't leave a scar, is that why she has this blind spot? Because that's like our big motif with her is scars. She has visible scars and that you return to multiple times.
So I love that you saw the proper violence because people have enjoyed that specific line so much to the point where Ray Wild actually asked if she could use proper violence as the name of a band.
Oh, that'd be great.
In one of her stories because she's like, no, I'm just obsessed with this phrase. So I think it's more, and it comes back to a conversation, which is not a spoiler, that Prim and Cordy have later on in the story, about passive versus active violence. And Cordy tends to think of plants as passive creatures, passive entities. They live passively when they don't live passively. They are active. You just don't happen to see it.
Right.
Sitting there, it's like, watching water boil, except significantly slower. So Ivy is so incredibly aggressive, and it strangles and it finds a way in. I have actually had Ivy break through the wall of my office 3 times. if I've been lazy and I haven't cut it back away from the house.
I live in Florida. I literally this weekend was ripping down vines from my house.
Oh,
They will swallow my house if I
they
don't do
will, and
anything
they will
about it.
take apart your siding, they will take down brick. Um, Plants will grow with like holly bushes, and they're so sharp and to the point where they can cut you and harm you, but at the top they're not. They're rounded. It's because it's down below is where they're threatened. So they're not passive, but Cordy looks at them passively until Prim corrects her and explains, no, plants aren't passive at all. They're just patient, which is a quality that Cordy consistently says she lacks
Yeah,
throughout the
it's
story.
absolutely true. She does.
um,
She's much faster paced action than Prim or Briar or
yeah,
Lady
she's
Evangeline.
um, and but yeah, the abuse that Cordy has suffered, and that she's seen the other women of the estate, um, the servants, how they have suffered and been abused in the world, is to her something malicious, something active. So for me and this, the idea of proper violence, specifically, surrounding the idea of Prim, uh, who Cordy's thinking of when she says it, is because Prim would do something so subtly. Cordy does not see, she sees glimpses of what would happen if Prim did act out and lash out the way Cordy has been lashed out, or Cordy has had people lash out at her, or the way Cordy has lashed out at other bullies. But she expects Prim to behave
The same way.
prim and proper and,
Yeah.
you know, deceitful rather than just coming right out and saying it to your face.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's. I mean, it's. The proper violence does immediately. I mean, I highlight things as I go. And I'm like, oh, what's. Let me remember that. Let me look at that. But it's that. It is that this idea that suddenly like there isn't violence in plants. There isn't violence in poison. It is a slower, more subtle, more insidious danger that sometimes you aren't, certain depending on how you're raised or socialized, you're not accustomed to seeing as
Mhm.
danger.
When
But
Briar's in the greenhouse, where the Briar is explaining to her that it's not, the plants can't help it.
no,
This is this is what they are. This is
right,
how they protect themselves. This is not an act of aggression unless it's necessary.
right. I mean, there's the clear parallels with how Prim and Briar have been raised, how they've been brought up.
Mhm.
It reminded me of I don't. I mean, this might not be a comparison you've gotten yet, but it reminded me of Jurassic Park. It reminded me of because uh,
I
Doctor
love
Sadler.
this.
Well, Doctor Sadler is a paleobotanist, and
Mhm.
so there's that. It's a very little part in the movie. It's a bigger part in the book, but it's about how she talks about how, oh, you bring these flowers
Because
back
they're pretty and they
because
look
they're
good.
pretty, yeah, but actually they're incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
And yeah, they haven't faced, all these years of evolution and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And so now we're just alongside them. Even though there is an element of mad science to this
Mhm.
story, there is an element of which is, that's Jurassic Park. Certainly there's an element of that too in there.
Mhm.
Um, which
Hubris.
Lady Evangeline, that's my was gonna leading in my next question about her. And she is quote unquote the mad scientist, the Dr.
Mhm.
Frankenstein, um, which or the short story that I have not read from Nathaniel Hawthorne, which is I was like, I'm not gonna read it. I
Mhm.
was like, I saw the blurb and it's like it's influenced by that. I'm like, I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna go in blind to the book. But the was it Rappaccini's daughter?
Abbottini's daughter.
Yeah, Dr. Rappaccini
Mhm.
in that book in that story. But Lady Evangeline she has created her little fiefdom, her own little world where she can be God effectively, it seems. Because there's that's another one of the things I highlighted is a man is designed for mischief and deceit.
Defeat.
And then I like that word designed is so it stood out to me immediately because there's all these clear parallels to religion. There's her 10
Our
commandments.
10 commandments.
Yeah, which I love. I love the 10 commandments. I love it. Um and the fact that in the book there's like a little you can actually have a little picture of it.
Mhm.
It's great. Um Lady Evangeline, I never sense any doubt in her. Is there doubt in her?
No.
Any at all? No?
No, she's this so that was important to me, and yeah, the religious parallels, even when you enter the manor for the first time and you see the psalm, it's it's changed from he sows to she.
Right.
So and the place is called Edenfield because what
Yeah.
she has done is she has created her own what she how she says it, "I've created, you know, in my image, but better."
Right.
So this is my Eden. If you know, if God made the perfect creation, I have done so and better. And no, and that's where I think one of the things I wanted to show about this story and the dichotomy of womanhood and what it is to be a woman existing in the world at any time. You think, and Cordy believes when she goes into this place, you know, her first thing is trepidation and she has to worry about her brother and what has happened here. But then she gets there and everyone is nice. And everyone is kind and everyone is seems to be looking out for her. And you would think that and Cordy in her naivete, because I call her the fool in the tarot deck the whole time, is that in an environment exclusively run and inhabited by women, a lot of the dangers would be gone. But when you insert any type of hubris or zealotry into a situation, that's when the dangers run rampant. And there's a quote, and I can't tell you who said it is the worst political system. Some I'm going to paraphrase is theology, because when you do something because you believe that a god has chosen you to do it, and for Lady Evangeline, it's the same thing. Her hubris has told her she cannot be wrong. She can try again because that's what a scientist does.
Right.
They experiment, but everything is collateral damage. Everything is an experiment getting to the next thing. There's no real emotional track for her. She is purely logical, purely like, well, this is the way it is. When she's angry because she feels, and I make a lot of parallels with her and Demeter, she feels betrayed,
Yeah.
not out of love, but out of righteousness.
Yeah.
So no, there is no doubt.
No.
She
I mean
is
I like villains, like true believers, right?
yeah,
The antagonist even. I wouldn't call her a villain even. Uh
yeah.
there's another oh my I just had it. What happened? I just had my little uh where it is. Where is it? Where is it? When she first meets when Cordy first meets Evangeline, there it is. Something fundamental within her had withered long ago and been replaced with iron and steel.
Mhm.
And it's like that again, that firm belief, that utter belief in I'm doing the right thing. And
Yeah.
I'm a scientist, so I have to yeah, sometimes there will be failures, but that doesn't mean you stop. It means you try again.
Mhm.
I don't know. There's also
And if
like
you scrap everything and start over, well, You get to do it all over again. You get to explore all over again. Imagine the possibilities. She exists in a world of possibilities. Now that she has control of now that she has full autonomy, she exists in a world of pure possibility.
Right. And it's like this, and she's also like this is a thing I've seen in multiple books that I've even done for this podcast, where it's like um she rebels against patriarchal system and creates
Mhm,
her own place, a place,
yeah,
a safe place
mhm,
theoretically, but then perpetuates
mhm,
control,
yes.
perpetuates uh I don't know,
She
beliefs.
offers her Eve's knowledge, but but she doesn't offer them truth.
Right.
And so what she's done is she's perverted her own Eden, was what I was going for.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. And there's also like this seductive power of cult like thinking, of a cult. Like it's again, I don't know. I always say that when I write every book I write, no matter what the book is about, it tends up to be about cults. I just always write about cults. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff going on in this, but there is still like this again, when you talk about, oh, Cordy goes in there, it's everyone's so nice. It's so nice here. I get good food, I eat real butter.
Yeah.
Um, which I don't know what kind of God Almighty
But
the
then,
poor
and
orphanage.
the first person that Cordy talks to tells her that ignorance has never kept a woman safe.
Yeah,
But she goes into this almost willfully ignorant. She's been warned, but and I think it's one of the things I mean, it'd been a very short book if she'd been on the carriage and like ignorance has never kept a woman safe. You shouldn't go there. You're right.
I mean, but I mean, there.
I'll
I don't
keep
know.
going.
I mean, it's. I think there is always that her brother, right? It's always there, and like again, you can. I would override my like. I think I personally would if my family's in danger or I need to go find someone, one of my loved ones. I will override. I'll push past a lot of my own doubt and my own like fear, and be like, well, and she is caught in a corner. She's on the run. I don't question it for a second. Like, I don't know. There's always that like my own story is how I have alarm bell. Like, why would they keep doing this? Wouldn't
Yeah.
they leave?
Don't go up the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I don't. And honestly, it's like, yeah, it feels safe.
Yeah.
Even I'm like, because I go in most of these when I'm reading books for the podcast, I go in completely blind, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, I don't look into anything about the story. I want to experience completely fresh, and my alarm bells never went off. I was like, well, and now there's, on honestly, now there's pretty girls. What
And
am
she
I?
gets
I
real
can't
dumb
leave.
around pretty girls.
Yes, I mean it's
I
we're all,
mean,
I don't know. Yeah,
mood.
exactly. Um, these are questions for my own edification. But so about influences on the book. Obviously, it's inspired by the Hawthorne story, but
Mhm.
um, is there? How about we have always lived in the castle? Is that in there at all?
That is in there.
Okay,
There are so many little Easter eggs that I so I used to tell in the before time when I taught high school, I tell my students that more doesn't mean better, more just means more,
right.
unless it's Gothic. And with Gothic, it's ostentatious for the sake of being ostentatious.
Yes.
It is too much is almost enough with Gothicism. So there's like I don't even remember exactly how many Easter eggs I crammed into this thing, but you have Jane Eyre, you have Rebecca, you have the picture of Dorian Gray, you have the yellow wallpaper, you have all of these classic canon Gothic, but then you also have some contemporary um pieces. So I if if you listen to the Evanescence Fallen album, that is the soundtrack of this book. And I'm like, is there a way for me to get the Evanescence Fallen album the Bridgerton treatment and then you have the Her Wicked Roots soundtrack? um for people that loved Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves, if you remember the scene with Lucy and Mina in the labyrinth, that's in there. Like, my homage to that scene and my own bisexual awakening was, like, is in this book. So, yeah, so many.
I mean, it's I don't know that it's Shirley Jackson basically has touched, I think, most modern horror
So, yeah.
authors. Yeah, it's impossible to ignore that. But here's another. This is a more of a, maybe a stranger sideways into this story, and I don't know if it actually had an influence you at all. But
Okay.
Grey Gardens.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely, and I
okay,
actually joked about how I would have loved to I thought about naming a character Edith. I adore Grey Gardens.
it's really
Uh,
it's an incredible thing.
is a fascinating documentary.
It,
I
it is. There's nothing else like it. I think
No.
that's the thing. But it also like immediately I'm like this again. It's these women have gone to this estate that
Mhm.
is but I mean, this is pre-rot.
Overrun
Yeah,
and
but it's not it's the, Edenfield is, I think, more well kept. It is fight
yes,
they
they are
unfortunately
cleaning it.
yes, they are cleaning it. There's
There
not
aren't cats.
cats. There aren't cats in the attic, peeing on paintings, but it is they are fighting the plants. Like it is like they are constantly fighting against like, oh, we need to clean this room. We haven't cleaned this room in a while. Like
Yeah.
there's the entropy is always there right at the edge of it.
Mhm.
Island of Dr. Rowe, any of that in there?
Um, I love the Island of Dr. Moreau, so if there is, I
It's
didn't
not purposeful.
actively do it, but
Okay.
again, this may have been a passive thing, so
That happens.
but
That
I
happens.
love the Island of Dr. Moreau, so
Yeah. I mean, it's also I think that that was more just appeals to like the broader again, mad science, like all
mhm,
those and that is appropriate. Even though and this story does have your story does have a little bit of a timelessness quality to it. It in
"Well,
that
thank
like
you."
well, I mean, it's more like there's no electricity in it,
Mhm,
but other than that, it could take place in a broad range of time and makes perfect sense. And it
mhm.
feels almost like a almost fairy tale like in that way. Like it could be set in any time period, and you don't. And I kind of love a lot of stories like that where it's like you can place it anytime, anywhere. Like, if you don't especially if you just, there's no electricity. Well, there's still places that don't have electricity in the world, to be fair.
People asked, "Was this Victorian or Regency?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Exactly. I mean,
It's like
I
Jimbo.
it's it when you blur that, kind of when it's, like, blurry and it feels again, when Cordy ends up in Enidfield, it feels even more isolated and, like, it's not completely a single location story, but it mostly is,
Yeah, the
and it
petri dish gets smaller and smaller and
Yeah,
smaller.
and I mean, again, because the time period is blurry and the setting is a little like, when is it? It's a little blurry. It feels a bit more, makes it more isolated because it could be any time. It could be any place. You could be there. You
Mhm.
could walk down into the woods. I grew up in the woods,
They
also.
could be LARPing this whole time.
Like, I mean, I was again with the way you layer the mysteries and like and and it's like I'm not expecting like a big M Night Shyamalan twist at the end or anything like that, but I was like always you're all you I found myself always questioning like what's really happening, what's the
Mm,
real thing and you're like no that's you're like trying to lock into and Cordy is I think a little bit she's on edge so you're and she is poisoned at some point in the story like it's what does that do to your brain? I'm like, I don't know. Do I? And she herself questions what she is what she's seeing real. She says, "Oh, this is impossible." I'm like, well, yeah, it is impossible, but is it happening? Yeah,
and I think
maybe.
that sometimes that's the best way is and, it doesn't really spoil anything, is with the gaslights, which is like a kind of a staple in the Gothic is the idea of the
Right,
gaslights, whether they are real or imaginary, and I think it's best when they're both.
right.
So, Cordy is doing just as good of a job as gaslighting herself as others are at gaslighting her.
Yeah, I'm not. I
And
won't. I won't spoil the story, but there were moments where I'm like, "Oh, Cordy, no, oh,
precious
Cordy,
baby, bless your
no,
heart,
no,
bless your
Cordy."
heart. But she I think having those moments where they are real, they are flickering, and then those moments where they're not, you're paranoid, because honestly, especially as one of the things that was important for me in this was with Cordy being young in her early 20s, and as I said, she's the fool in the tarot deck. We all had this feeling walking out into the greater world for the first time, um, in our big girl shoes, that we knew it all and we were dumb.
Yeah. Very
We
dumb.
didn't even have a fully functional frontal lobe
No.
until we were 27, but we were real confident in what we knew, and what we didn't know probably wasn't worth knowing. And so I wanted people to remember what that was like to be so confident in your early 20s, and to think that you knew it all, that you were clever, and that no one had ever felt the way you felt in that specific moment in time, and no one would ever understand you. And all of the albums were about you. Like, you listened to that Dashboard Confessional CD in college, and that was your entire personality.
Okay, so that brings up, now that you mentioned, yeah, she's the fool. This one final question about references. Uh People Under the Stairs. Is that anything? Nothing. Main
Not
character. They call the main character in that a fool multiple times. He is he is. They use the fool tarot, and it's also a boy a boy trapped in a labyrinthine house. Wes Craven's movie from the 90s.
Yeah, I it's been so long since I've seen that. So again, maybe subconsciously, and I didn't think about
I mean,
it.
it's oblique. You only because you've said called out fool multiple times. I'm like, wait a second,
Yeah.
and it is again single setting, all that stuff. Um, it's time to move on to our second segment. Um, More broader, bookish questions. It's time for the
Okay,
second
gosh.
act. But I people should go buy Her Wicked Roots. It's a really beautiful story. And
I like
well,
it. I'm biased.
well, yeah, I tell people that all the time when people are trying to when I'm selling people to books at conventions or whatever. I'm like, they're like, oh wow, this sounds cool. I'm like, I assure you, it is.
I'm much better at plugging other people's stuff. I will admit it.
I
I
mean, it's when you're selling in person, you really have to turn up your volume to like
yeah.
your self belief is at 11. You have to be like, yes, these are the best books ever written. You will love them.
Yes.
Yes, but I do. Her
And
Wicked
she's
Roots is
pretty.
Her Wicked Roots is beautiful. Like there are multiple. I could like list all the little pieces of prose. I'm like, that's really pretty. I'm gonna highlight that
Aw, thank
just to
you.
look at it.
I meant the physical book is pretty,
I
but
mean,
I'll
the
take
physical
that
book.
too.
I haven't actually seen the physical book yet, but
Oh yeah,
I'm sure I'll stop.
I had nothing to do with that part of it except just picking out
I mean, the
everything.
cover is gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful.
Artists are magical.
So striking. It is such a striking cover. Um, which again, people do judge a book by their cover,
Artists are
unfortunately.
magical.
They really are. I wish that's the one thing people are like, do you do the art for your books? I'm like, no. I wish I
Oh, when they
wrote.
asked me who I wanted, I was like, Marcella. Like, I knew exactly who I wanted. I was like, there was no hesitation on my part. And this is one of 4 covers. Like, one of 4 possible covers, and my one of my things is that no one will ever see the other 3, and I'm just like, "Oh, but they're so stunning."
I mean, maybe special edition down the road.
I see them. I
Yeah.
have them.
Um, your first question is from my last guest.
Okay.
And at the end of this segment, I'm going to ask you a question for the next guest.
Oh, no.
I know it's okay. No pressure. There's no wrong answer. Whatever question you ask, it could be. I'll give you a guideline now. It could be a bookish question. Could
Okay,
be non-bookish. Could be anything you're curious about. And if you really want to know, I'll tell you who the next guest is.
okay.
But the question is from Rebecca Baum. Um, do you have a practice of pen on paper at all, or do you go straight to your keyboard when you're
I
writing?
I both. So I
Okay.
do have a practice of pen on paper, which is every single book that I write, or short story has its own notebook, um, where I jot down all my research, all of my, inspirational one-liners, like the ones that you think of at 2 a.m. or inconveniently in the shower and you're just like trying to remember them before they're lost to the ether.
Fade
um,
away.
where I put like stickers and everything, like little or songs that I think match the vibe or that I'm trying to go for. So yes. Long story short, yes, I
Is
do.
there she specified which kind of pen she uses. Do you have a specific pen that you use?
I use both fountain pens and G2.07. I like as fine a line as possible. Is it the .07 or
Yeah,
is it the
it's my
.05?
camera. It is the G207 right here.
Yes. My
Yeah,
my
that's
husband
my
likes
pen.
the '05, and I'm just like, "Ugh, that's crazy. It's so broad."
Yeah, this is the 7 is that is my I literally have like 20 of these right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my pen.
It is the superior pen. And I also make a coloring sheet for
Okay.
every book in the notebook, that I sketch out a coloring page to accompany the the book, and I label each part by chapter, and as I finish editing a chapter, I color in that section. So I
Okay.
have a completed coloring page, which you
That's
can see them on my Instagram.
okay. Yeah, there that's I've used a practice sometimes called focus frogs, which are it's when you write, "Oh, I need to focus for 20 minutes." I
Mhm.
will color in a part of the frog after you do it. And so you and
Oh,
then you do 4 sections and you finish a frog, and then you have a sheet of frogs, and then you can fill in all the frogs, and
that's
then but it's a one like, "Oh, well, it's a something. It makes little happy brain chemicals." You're like, "Oh,
yeah,
I made a
exactly,
frog."
and I make them for friends. A bunch of my friends have asked me to make them one for, like, their book. I did one for, like, Tegan King for Spit Back the Bones and, Broken Tra for, Amanda Castille's Broken Trail and
She
for
is gonna be on the podcast in
yes,
about
I
in
did
about
hers for Broken Trail.
yeah.
Because it's just fun. It's something fun to do, and it does for me, it keeps me motivated,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, and whatever I tell people, whatever works. Like
yeah.
if you whatever any weird like none of it makes real sense. Like it's just whatever
It's all
rituals.
writing. I'm
Yeah,
coloring, I'm writing.
exactly. Just whatever makes you go. Um, who's a writer more people should be reading? Or multiple,
Um,
or you can also freely answer multiple writers if you'd like.
yeah, okay, because 'cause I'm gonna go with a couple here. So, one that I completely selfishly I need people to read more of is Matt Veslovsky. Um, so Matt Veslovsky wrote he's he actually is part of the Northern Weird project that, is being done. His little novella was Don't Call Mum, which I blurbed, but, he wrote a series of 6 books called Six Stories, and the first one's called Six Stories, and what it is it is written as a podcast
Okay.
where the main character goes back and looks over a cold case that's already, it, a murder or something that has been put away, and then interviews 6 people associated with either the victim or the case itself, and as, the podcaster is reexamining the case through these interviews, like, more and more details come to light, and it is a fantastic series, and I actually got so obsessed with it that when, Matt was teaching at Faber Academy, he teaches a horror, novel class at Faber or a horror writing class at Faber Academy. I got up at 4 a.m. for a couple of weeks just so I could take his class as the only American in the
4
class.
a.m. Man,
Um, it's like so bright and sunny where they are, and I'm just in with
the
my like
dark.
coffee, like a complete and utter gremlin in my pajamas. Um, so selfishly, that
Okay.
I absolutely think, and even if you just listen to the audiobooks, which are done with a cast, it's fantastic because I think he is a masterclass in voice.
Okay.
Because every character sounds completely different. They're all distinct individuals, and I think that that's something that's difficult for a lot of writers, and he does it flawlessly.
Okay.
And so I wish more people read it here in the US so I could I could talk about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm gonna try and put a link to all this in the show notes, so people want to go check this stuff out. I'll
Oh,
try
yeah,
and provide
they're
links.
brilliant. Always, always, always shout out to my, to the middle grade. I do not care who, I need people to read more middle grade horror. Um, of course, Ali Malineko has Broken Dolls coming out. Laura Senf or it just came out, sorry, a couple of weeks ago, and Laura Senf just dropped the latest Pennies, um, as part of the Clackety series, and I am obsessed with middle grade, and I've always been obsessed with middle grade, and we have this joke that I'm the official, unofficial, or unofficial official, I don't know, I need a badge, cheerleader for spooky middle grade,
Yeah.
because I have no skin in the game. I just want people to read it because I love fangirling about middle grade books. Um, in fact, on the day of my launch to, you treat yourself.
Right.
When I went to sign my first book at a bookstore, I left with Broken Dolls. So that was my treat to myself.
I think I think that's pretty reasonable just to
Yeah,
buy a book.
I'd read it, and I
Yeah.
before it came out, and I absolutely loved it, but I didn't have physical copy, so I'm like, "Well, now I have to get this is my treat." So I'm getting a coffee, and I'm getting Broken Dolls, and
I mean, I don't know. I treat myself every day. I'm
I know,
unrepentant.
add to cart.
I was gonna
Um,
say, I've literally just got the new the reprinting of the Books of Blood in the mail because I was like, "Oh, it's out. Okay. I want it.
okay,
I want it.
this is mine now.
Yeah, it's mine." Yeah.
So I'm gonna turn around real quick.
I look at the bookshelf. Yeah.
Yeah, I do because if let's see.
Eagle-eyed viewers on the YouTube can zoom in and try and pick out all the different books.
So
I can't see them.
my other one of my most gifted books that I to Aaron E. Adams' Jackal,
Okay.
which I think is one of the most beautiful things I've ever read. Um, and criminally underrated at large. So the horror community knows it, but I want everyone
Yeah.
to read that book because I don't think it's exclusively horror. I think it's kind of beautiful enough that it fits anywhere.
I mean,
And
that's what I try and push not more broader readers. I'm like, you should be reading. There's so many beautiful books and that are horror books, and you're missing out.
yeah. And also Tiffany Jackson, who did White Smoke, and I think her latest one just dropped on the same day as mine, the Scammer, which I have not gotten yet. And that's another treat for myself once I finish some assignments that I have. It's because I really want to read it, especially because it's like this beautiful hot pink cover, and I'm like, but it was made for me. That's specifically for me.
It's for me. It's like the Junji Ito,
Yeah,
the
this is
hole. This hole is made for me. Um,
this is mine now.
this is mine. Um, what's the best piece of advice you followed?
Um, best piece of advice. Oh, I don't know if it's when I follow so much as I say, and then I
Okay.
do it too,
Okay.
which is shoot your shot.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer in the worst thing someone's gonna say to me is no. I mean, I guess they could say meaner things, but good luck saying meaner things than my brain does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm way meaner to myself than you could be, like, Godspeed.
That's that,
Um,
that I mean, it is that is genuinely great advice to people out there. Like, go for things.
go for it.
Ask. Like again, go after what you want and try it. And again, if someone says no, that's the worst. What? Oh
Okay,
no,
cool.
it's
Either
good.
I'm not their cup of tea or they're busy and, whatever, but it actually I think I have, like, 100% success rate with shooting my shot, like, asking I go to book launches. This is before I did publishing at all, and I would go to book, launches and just I'd be the last one in line, and I'd ask the author, like, like John Connolly was one. I'm like, "Can I take you for drinks and talk shop, like, pick your brain?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, no one ever asks me that."
I
Like,
mean,
just
yeah,
people
go
there with, like,
ask.
their 40 books being signed, like, I'm like, "What? What's the word? This is
Yeah,
fine." Christopher Golden, I have a short story coming out with him this Friday.
I saw that. Yeah, which is again jealous.
I've been reading him since I was 14,
Same,
and,
same.
like, the only reason that happened, like, he's my Stephen King, and everybody knows he's my Stephen King, but, the only reason that happened is because he'd asked me a question over socials, which perceived.
Oh
And
no.
then I completely unhinged, was like, "Yeah, have you ever need anybody to write a story with?"
I
Like,
mean, that's the
"Why?"
thing. Put those things out in the world. Like it's
And
not.
he's just like, "I don't write with people I don't know." And I'm like, "That's fair." He's like, "Well, send me something, I'll read it." And then he read it and he's like, "No, let's let's do it." And I'm like, "Okay." So,
Well, he didn't
always
know you. Then he knew you.
yeah, the worst thing that someone is gonna tell you is no. And again, they could be mean about it, but your brain's probably meaner.
Yeah, and most authors are not, especially in publishing. Most
In the
authors are
especially
not.
in the horror community.
Yeah,
It's just
we're
everybody's just kind, so
yes. I was going to say that. I think Robert Ottone, who's my first guest, he said like,
I love
yeah, Robert's great. Um, he's an incredible man, but he said like people in horror, especially, or we take mentorship very seriously,
Mhm,
and we are and I try and embody that with it's a quote I think about a lot is Gabino Iglesias. I don't know where he got it from, but he said you have two hands, so with one hand you reach up for more, you try and pull yourself up, you try and do more, be more,
mhm,
but your other hand reaches down,
mhm.
pull people up with you, grab somebody, pull them
Yeah.
with you, and it's like everyone's like that.
Yeah,
Everyone I've
horror community
encountered.
is wonderful about that, and it's just like, "Hang on, we've got this." It's like it's a human chain, it's not every man for himself.
No, exactly. It's not a zero sum game. Who are you jealous of?
Oh, man. Um, hmm. I already did the coolest thing I can think of. I wrote with my Stephen King, so,
You can say I'm not jealous of
what
anybody.
have I got? I'm
I'm the
sure
best.
I am. I can't think of an individual so much as I can say, I think I'm envious of anybody that can with that doesn't face the imposter syndrome, and I'm sure everybody does to some degree. I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure that that happens, but I imagine I'm envious of anybody that can get to launch day and not feel like they got away with something. So,
Yeah.
like, this is and it's funny because I thought, they tell you not to read the comments, not to read the reviews. Well, of course I'm going to. But again, I was actually surprised, and my husband, I think, was waiting with, like, bated breath when I found my first bad
Oh,
review, and
yeah.
it wasn't even terrible. Well, okay, there was one for Cicada where someone was very unhappy with Cicada, and I read it and I was like, "Oh, that's fine. They didn't have to like it. I
No.
appreciate that they tried it though." And that was my full reaction, and I'm like, "I don't actually care if people don't like my book." And I'm like, "That's good because I wrote it for me, not anybody else." So I don't care about whether or not people enjoy it. I want them to enjoy it, but it is your right not to.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly happy with that, and it doesn't hurt my feelings if it's not for you. And I was just asked in another interview, "What do you say to people that don't read horror about why they should?" And I'm like, "I don't. If someone tells me they don't like something, I'm not going to say it's an acquired taste. Like, I don't drink beer,
Mm. Yeah.
and people, "It's an acquired taste." Why would I drink it if I don't enjoy it? Like, but I like water. So
I like water.
I like liquor. Why do I need to drink beer? This doesn't make sense. So it's
No.
the same thing with horror, but I think it's that I'm envious of anybody that can get through to launch day and not think that they got away with the heist of the century.
I think everyone feels that. I think everyone has some degree of imposter syndrome
Oh
because,
yeah.
yeah, I
We're
feel like
all
it's,
waiting for the guy with the clipboard to show up.
yeah, you're like, "Why are you here? You're not allowed." Um, it's a story, an anecdote I think about a lot is I think Mark Maron told this story about he was at some event, got in an elevator and Sting was there. Sting was in the elevator. It's just him, Sting, and Sting's manager. And he's like, and it's like, that's Sting. And he's like, he wanted to be like, oh, wow, Sting. But he got to just kind of play it cool. And then he just said hello. And they just rode in the elevator. But Sting and his manager were talking. Apparently, Sting just had an album or is going to have an album out soon. And Sting's like, man, I hope they like it. And he was like expressing like this doubt. And
Mhm.
you're like, and Mark Maron wanted to yell at him. He's like, "You're Sting, man. Like, what do you need to prove anymore? Like, you're one of the most famous people on earth. Like, you made a bunch of famous music. Like, you're kind of cemented, but even people like that
Yeah,
still
because
have
our
that."
brains are mean.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not we don't no one gets to fix it for us, and again, like, we're back to, right there with the Gothicism is, the Gothic is, like, the whole point is someone has said, "I could fix it." So,
Absolutely, definitely. Yeah, yeah, sure, no problem.
yeah, I got this.
I got this. Do you have a question for our next guest?
What hmm, what was your gateway horror media?
Okay,
Was it film? Was it book? Was it picture book, middle grade, novel? What was the gateway?
Goosebumps.
Yours was Goosebumps?
Yeah, probably,
Mine was
probably,
Mary Downing Hahn.
probably, or Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, I loved
Probably.
it. My gateway was absolutely Mary Downing Hahn, Wait Till Helen Comes, Queen of Scholastic Book Fair.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, it's all those, that era, like that. Are You Afraid of the Dark on
Yeah,
Nickelodeon?
I loved Are You Afraid? Trying to get my kids into it, and my son is still a little afraid of it, and I'm just like, "It's okay,
I
just
don't know. I talk to
patient,
young
wait."
people sometimes at shows, and they're like, "What?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're too young. You're a baby. You're a little bab. You don't know."
We do have all the Goosebumps, though, so I'm
I mean,
like
that's kind of like I'm like, should I get all the Goosebumps? This seems like a silly thing to do, but I should do it. Just have a okay, good. Thank you for encouraging this.
add to cart.
I was gonna say like I am a bad collector. I
And
collect.
I'm a bad enabler.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. So running out of time for the second segment. So on to the third segment. The third segment is it's time for blood. Yeah. I mean it's it's dramatic, but it's about trouble. It's about
Okay.
struggles with things. It could be about a work in progress. It could be about business. It could be about philosophy of some sort. It could be about anything. So
Okay.
do you have anything on the top of your head, something maybe you're working on, you're having a trouble with, something that you've published, you've had trouble with, anything?
Um, you mean apart from the trauma response that we're all having right now?
Yes, apart from, I mean, we, if you want to talk about that, we can, because that's also a thing I think all writers.
My agent called me the day of my launch, and she's just like, "I feel like you're not okay." And I was just like, "It's fine. The world's on fire, but my book came out, and I
Your book
should
came out.
enjoy it."
Yes, you should. You
I'm
should
like,
enjoy it.
I was having such a hard time, and I still kind of am, like, just kind of masking through it. Is I want to enjoy it, and I know I should enjoy it, but at the same time, like, oh my god, the world's on fire. But apart from being a complete Debbie Downer to everybody, uh,
Wah, wah.
that's what Twitter is for, or Blue Sky, or Threads, or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever one you
Um,
want.
I think with for me, and someone is going to, I apologize for your audience that just completely like stops playing this podcast at this point.
Oh, whatever.
Um, is I draft quickly, and I usually have 2 projects that I'm working on at the same time, and I do tend to draft very quickly. So I wrote the end on 2 novels this year, while this was in edits, and
Right.
while starting a third, a third and fourth thing. So my backlog increases while publishing moves
Very glacially, yeah.
notoriously slowly. Um, so it is a it is an exercise in patience, and um which I'm fine with, and I'm actually a patient person regardless of my golden retriever puppy energy. Um, but I get so excited about the book itself, and because I love it, that I want it out of the backlog
Right.
so that I can continue to add more to the backlog without giving my agent an aneurysm. Because she says at least once a week, "You don't stop." And I'm like, "I can't." I'm starting to feel like you want me to stop.
I mean, it's, I don't know. I'm the same way. I have 17 books out. I have a lot of books, and I've written 3 manuscripts this year, and I'm gonna trying to do 2 more this year.
Yeah. It's
Before,
just
but
it's
I
the
mean, like
hustle.
what you said, like I want to keep going. Like I have another idea. I want to write it. I want to write it. I
Yeah.
want to get it out. It's that, I don't
At
know.
this point, the number of things that will have to be published after I'm dead.
I feel like, I don't know. I could go very long stories about publishing needs to adjust, and it has needed to adjust for a long time to changing, and to, I don't know, to the different whims and to different authors, and to adjust and to publish things faster and to be more agile.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't. That's probably too. If we'd be here for 3 more hours, but it's like the. I don't know that I am. I write a lot because I think it is, all my heroes
Mhm.
are all prolific.
Mhm.
They always make lots of things, and sometimes, and I think that is the key to making uh great work. There is a. Do you know who Matteo Lane is? He's a
He
comedian. Um, he's very funny, but he's also an artist. Uh,
I'm terrible with names, so
he's
maybe.
a very flamboyant gay man, who's hilarious,
Do you have a
but
mustache?
he does have a mustache.
Okay,
Yes,
then
yes,
yes.
yes. But he's very, and like he's very silly most of the times, which hides the fact that he's a genius. He's
Yeah.
so brilliant and
He
very
always holds his microphone and he goes like he's got that
yeah.
hand down. Yeah, okay.
Yes, exactly. But he went to art school and his teacher told him it's another thing that I always replay in my head is like you're not working on your masterpiece, you're working towards your masterpiece.
Mhm.
And he's like, and I think like the key to working towards a masterpiece, if you're not gonna like do it on purpose, you're just gonna end up creating lots of things. And along the way, one of those things is gonna be your masterpiece. And
Mhm.
like what you described, you're like, oh, I have two more. I wrote, I'm I'm done with these two things, and I'm writing two more. I'm like, well, one of those might be your masterpiece. You don't know it right now,
No.
but because you've made so much and you're crap, like you're working on your, like you inherently are improving your craft
Mhm.
by doing that so much. And I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't, if your age is telling you to slow down.
It's progress, not perfection.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I don't know. I'm like, I would tell you, don't stop. Keep going. Keep
oh,
making
no,
more. Yeah.
I can't stop. My brain's like, "Nope, must do."
That's the other thing. People go, they ask me, like, how do you keep making so much stuff? I'm like, you don't have a thing in here that's yelling at you the all day long. Go more.
New
Keep
thing.
going.
You don't have honor student mentality? What's it like to be God's favorite?
Was there's a meme that is going around about where he also on the he gifted for gifted
Oh,
kids who are
yeah.
the yeah
How are all the former gifted kids doing nowadays with your BDD caffeine addiction and I'm like, "Well, that's not I'm just gonna use this specific meme to advertise the next book when they announce it, hopefully this week.
really? Ooh,
Hopefully,
it's
hopefully,
exciting.
hopefully." Again,
Well,
I've been so patient for
can
like
it
a year.
well, this will be out in a few weeks, so can you tell us what it is, or is you still gotta wait?
I'm not sure. I think I probably can, but I can at least give you so I'll say this much.
Here, if it isn't actually been announced by the time this podcast goes live, I'll cut all this.
Okay, so pink slasher.
Ooh.
Um so called Barbie Just Won't Die.
Ooh.
About a 40-year-old perimenopausal former scream queen who is doing the horror con circuit.
Ooh.
Oh,
This stop taking you hit oil.
yeah.
I'm not,
If it doesn't come out, we'll have to cut
I'll
this.
cut it. I'll pay attention.
I think
I'll check
I'll let
in.
you know. I think we're gonna announce it this week. I'm really hoping so.
I'll check in with you just to be sure
Okay.
while I'm editing this. But I mean, I'm
We'll have
a
a
bit.
really amazing transition.
I mean, it's again, it's I sometimes cut things because my dog is barking too much. So it's not whatever. People don't
Well, I
know
just
why
hope you
things are.
if it doesn't, you cut it right there and then you use the SpongeBob music or something. It's like "Doot, doot, doot, doot," and then it comes back, and we're back.
When we're back. No, that's a great. I mean, like there's a I I sell my books at car conventions a lot, so I
Mhm.
see those actors a lot, and they're ripe for stories,
Yes.
all of them. It's so good.
I spent 2 hours with Amanda Weiss from Nightmare, sitting with her at Mad Monster and
Ah,
just
okay,
taking notes and watching and
that's
so,
exciting. I'm excited about
yeah.
that.
Me too.
I mean, especially after reading Her Wicked Roots, it's so good.
Thank you.
And now you just have to. I guess it's be patient with the publishing. It's hard to do. That's the lesson, and I don't know you have to. I don't know when you say, "Oh, people are going to turn off the podcast." I'm like, these are lessons people should be.
This is
These are you have to be patient with
yeah.
things. It's not always like say publishing, but it can be factors outside your control that affect your
And
work.
it just is. It's not this is not a thing for the faint of heart, and I will say it time and time again, and as I know it's hard and I know it's difficult and I know it's demoralizing a lot of days, but you wouldn't do it if you didn't love it.
Right.
Unless you're a masochist, in which case that's an entirely different thing.
Well, you still
And
love it,
I'm fine
sort
with
of.
that too. I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum. You go, you do you. Um, But I think that if you go into it nonchalantly and you think that um Her Wicked Roots is almost a unicorn story because it sold in 60 days on Sub. Um which is essentially a unicorn. But I also had a book die on Sub as well in the before time.
I mean, that's the thing where everyone everyone has had trouble and struggles, and there's
Yeah.
you don't see that as often. You don't see the people don't publicize the hard things.
Mhm.
They only put out, "Oh, look, I have a new book out. I have this. Oh, I'm so good. All my great things." But like, no, we all are pushing through something. There's always
Everybody's
some.
doing the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. It's always, and again, because we love it, because we
Mhm.
want to share our stories. Before we go, Tanya, tell everybody where they can find your books, where they can find you online, all that stuff.
Her Wicked Roots is kind of everywhere. Favorite
Everywhere.
booksellers
Yeah,
everywhere.
everywhere.
Cicada, which Alan at Shortwave just got a deal with Simon Schuster for distribution.
Oh wow.
So I'm actually kind of under the Simon and Schuster umbrella, kind of everywhere at this point, because even Fever Dreams, which is the anthology with the story with Christopher Golden, is also at Flame Tree Press. So yeah. And then my website, tanyapell.com, makes it very simple for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm primarily on Instagram, tanya.pell, because that's all my brain can handle. Uh, I dabble in a few of the others, but
Yeah.
it's mostly just dabbling.
Right.
So yeah, but someone will find me somewhere.
I I'll put links to as much of that stuff as I could manage. But I hope that this is the thing I always like. Do y'all not use the internet? You just Google, like, again, you search Tanya Pell, you'll find it. If you search her Wicked Roots, you can find
It's
her. The internet lets you do all that.
just
So connect.
Google it.
Yeah, go find it. But you can also just go to my show notes. I try and be very
There
helpful.
you go.
Tanya, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.